When NFL referees mess up, the fallout can be legendary. We have all lived through the past few years where referees seem to be the front of controversy. Again and again. Many say they're dressed in red, and the zebra stripes are just a camouflage. We're talking about game-deciding calls so bad they caused riots, rewrote rule books, and broke millions of hearts in the process. A playoff catch that vanished on replay, to a stadium literally showered in shock from one bad call to the next. One infamous no call on this list was so bad it sparked lawsuits and a one-year experiment. We'll get there. First, let's set the stage. NFL officials have a tough job, and most calls are right. But when they mess up on a big stage, it becomes football folklore pretty quickly. Let's race through these 10 referee literal nightmares with our play-by-play that we promise is more reliable than the refs in these games. We're counting down the top 10 worst officiating disasters in NFL history. Number 10, the Bottlegate, the beer bottle riot. In Cleveland, in 2001, the Browns were driving for a miracle comeback when chaos broke loose. Week 14, Cleveland versus Jacksonville. 1 minute and 8 seconds left. The Browns, down to 15-10, convert a 4th and 2, or so it seemed. Cleveland QB Tim Couch hit Quincy Morgan for a first down at the Jaguars' 12th. Morgan bobbled it, but refs signaled for a completion. Couch rushed to the line and spiked the ball with 48 seconds remaining. Then, the unthinkable. Officials announced they were reviewing the 4th down catch from 2 plays earlier and overturned it to an incompletion. Normally under the rules, you're not supposed to review a play after another snap. So obviously, Browns fans completely lost it. Fans pelted the field with hundreds of beer bottles, forcing the officials to halt the game. They even declared the game over, abandoning the final 48 seconds. The NFL commissioner phoned down and ordered the teams back out into the dirty field to finish the game. About 30 minutes later, players returned to an empty field filled with trash, and the Jaguars took a couple knees to finally end it 15-10. The league admitted the referees got it wrong by ending the game early. Actually, only the commissioner can authorize terminating a game early. Browns management bizarrely refused to condemn the bottle throwing. "I like the fact that our fans care," said team president, earning league criticism. The NFL also reviewed its replay rules. As a result, they changed the rules to prevent late reviews after a new play occurs. It was Bottlegate. You mess up a call in Cleveland, you risk a glass bottle to the dome. Number 9. The Ghost Flag. Midway through the second quarter, Blair Walsh lined up for a 48-yard field goal against the St. Louis Rams. The snap was clean, the kick had the distance, but missed wide right. Rams fans interrupted, but the celebration was cut short. A flag was thrown in the backfield. Everyone assumed it was either offsides or some form of encroachment. But after a long conference, the officials announced there is no foul on the play. Wait! So the flag was thrown, the play was stopped, but the miss didn't count? Instead of letting the play stand, in one of the strangest sequences of the 2015 season, the Vikings were gifted a do-over on a missed field goal. Not because of a legitimate penalty, but because of a phantom flag. Walsh got a second chance from 5 yards closer, and this time, he nailed it. Rams coach Jeff Fisher could only shake his head in disbelief. Commentators were stunned. Fox's Mike Pereira, a former head of NFL officiating, said plainly on air, "That's a mistake. If there's no foul, you can't kill the play." Fans dubbed it the Ghost Flag, a penalty that never existed, yet directly changed the scoreboard. Even the opposing team admitted it was odd. Social media lit up with side-by-side memes of referees wearing "I tried" badges and blindfolds. Despite the gift, the Vikings eventually lost the game 21-18, but the mistake stuck. This wasn't just a bad call, it was a procedural meltdown that showed how a single phantom flag can completely alter momentum, that the refs can intervene even when they shouldn't. Number 8, Dez Bryant's no catch. It's the 2014 NFC Divisional Playoffs. Cowboys versus Packers at freezing Lambeau Field. Down 26-21 with 4 minutes and 42 seconds left. Dallas faces 4th and 2. Tony Romo throws deep to Dez Bryant, who makes a leaping grab at the 5-yard line. Dez comes down with the ball and lunges for the end zone as he falls. The crowd is in awe. Initially ruled a catch, this 31-yard miracle looked like it put Dallas on the brink of a go-ahead score. But hold on, Packers coach Mike McCarthy challenges. Upon replay review, officials stun everyone by overturning it to an incomplete pass. But why? According to officiating, Bryant was going to the ground and the ball clearly touched the ground and came loose. Under the 2014 rule, a receiver had to secure the ball all the way to the ground. Since Dez's was bobbling ball and it hit the turf, the catch was overturned. The infamous process of the catch rule. Cowboys fans were livid. Even Dez tweeted, "I caught it." Green Bay took over on downs and ran out the clock to eventually win 26-21. This moment basically rewrote the catch rule. In 2018, the NFL finally adjusted the rule to eliminate the overly technical going to the ground requirement. This moment taught us no one knows what a catch is, but at least now it's a little closer to common sense. Number 7, the missed pass interference. It's 2019. The Saints and Rams are tied 20-20 with under 2 minutes left in the NFC Championship. The Super Bowl is on the line. Saints QB Drew Brees on 3rd and 10 throws to Tommy Lee Lewis near the sideline, and wham! Rams cornerback Nickel Roby Coleman annihilates Lewis before the ball arrives. It was the most textbook pass interference call you could ever see. Everyone's watching, waiting for the flag, and waiting, and nothing. No call. 70,000 people are screaming in disbelief, shaking the Superdome. The Saints had to settle for a field goal and a 23-20 yield. The Rams got the ball back, forced overtime with a field goal, and eventually won 26-23 to go to the Super Bowl. New Orleans fans were filled with rage. Even Louisiana politicians demanded action. The NFL's own lawyers later acknowledged in court that the play should have been ruled a pass interference or a helmet-to-helmet foul. The NFL immediately ruled to make pass interference calls and non-calls reviewable by replay. It was the first time in history judgment calls could be challenged. Unfortunately, the experiment was a mess. Reviews were inconsistent, and the bar for overturning a non-call was impossibly high. After that one season, the league scrapped the rule. To this day, New Orleans fans contend they were robbed of a Super Bowl trip, and judging by how the Rams did in that Super Bowl, they might have a point. The no call in NOLA, or the missed pass interference, remains perhaps the most blatant officiating mistake ever. Number 6, the phantom touchdown. This one was so weird, even the broadcasters didn't know what to say. Week 5 of the 2018 season, Eagles versus Vikings, a rematch of the previous year's NFC title game. With 6 minutes and 28 seconds left in the second quarter, Minnesota faced a 3rd and long. Kirk Cousins hit Adam Thielen, but he was tackled well short of the marker. 4th and 1. Vikings kicker Dan Bailey even trotted on for a field goal. But suddenly, confusion. The officials awarded a new first down out of nowhere with no penalty, no explanation, and no replay correction. Everyone, from Fox commentators to players on both sidelines, were visibly stunned. Within seconds, social media exploded. "Wait, how is that a first down?" one fan tweeted, while another posted a meme of the chain crew making it up as they go. What made it worse? On the very next play, Cousins tossed a touchdown pass, a score that shouldn't have happened. That phantom first down now has literally altered history. The NFL later blamed a spotting error, saying the chains were incorrectly moved forward without an official reset. But in a league with digital chains and real-time tracking, that excuse didn't fly with fans. While it didn't lead to a formal rule change, it caused debate about automated down and distance systems and why human errors like this can still unfortunately decide games. In the end, the Eagles lost by 2 scores, but that bizarre phantom touchdown remains one of the strangest officiating glitches in recent memory. We're only halfway through, and we've already seen unforgettable moments. Thousands of bottles thrown, and rules changed. How much worse could it get? Now, onto our top 5 worst officiating disasters. If you think we've already hit rock bottom, oh no! These next ones include a blown coin toss and the granddaddy of all controversial catches. Now's a great time for a quick timeout. Hit that subscribe button. We post new sports stories every week. No coach's challenge needed. Number 5. Roughing the GOAT? Week 5 of the 2022 season. Falcons versus Buccaneers. Atlanta is storming back from a 21-0 deficit, just down 6 with under 3 minutes left. On a crucial 3rd and 5, Falcons defensive lineman Grady Jarrett bursts through the line and sacks Tom Brady with a clean, textbook sack. It's 4th down. Bucs should just punt. Atlanta would get the ball back with a chance to win. But then, a flag. The referee calls roughing the passer on Jarrett, claiming he unnecessarily threw Brady to the ground. The penalty gives Tampa Bay a fresh set of downs. Bucs run out the clock. Falcons never get the ball back. Game over. Former players, analysts, and fans all asked the same question. What was he supposed to do? Hug him? Jarrett didn't hit Brady high or low, didn't lead with his helmet, and didn't land on him with full body weight. It was, by all appearances, the kind of sack defensive coaches teach or call textbook. Troy Aikman sarcastically called it one of the worst roughing the passer calls I've ever seen. Social media lit up with memes of defenders bubble wrapping quarterbacks and laying them gently on Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Even with this, the NFL stood by the call. It quietly reviewed the play with officiating leadership, and that offseason, roughing the passer became one of the league's hottest topics for potential review rules. Grady Jarrett didn't get the sack, but he sure sacked the NFL's credibility that day. Number 4, Fail Mary. Refs run wild. September 24th, 2012, aka the night Twitter exploded. It's Monday Night Football in Seattle. The NFL's regular refs were locked out, so replacement officials were calling games. It all came to a head with one final play between the Seahawks and the Packers. Seattle, down 12-7, hurled a Hail Mary to the end zone as time expired. Seattle WR Golden Tate and Green Bay safety MD Jennings both got their hands on the jump ball in the end zone. One ref signaled touchdown, another waved for a touchback. After a moment of total confusion, they ruled it a touchdown for Seattle. The refs called it a simultaneous possession, which by the rulebook goes to the offense. This caused the Seahawks to win 14-12. Replays show Jennings had far more control. It looked like it was a Packers interception. Tate sneakily had one arm on the ball. Oh, and not to mention, Tate shoved a Green Bay defender out of the way with both hands just before the catch, an obvious offensive pass interference that wasn't ever called. But the touchdown was never taken back. It counted, and Green Bay was furious. Announcer John Gruden exclaimed, "This is awful," on live TV, and Seahawks fans were like, "Yeah, we got away with one." The uproar was unlike anything seen in social media history. The next morning's headlines dubbed it the Fail Mary, or the inaccurate reception. The final straw. Literally 2 days later, the NFL struck a deal to bring back the real officials. The Fail Mary not only stole a win from Green Bay, it reminded the league and fans that professional refs cost money. And it isn't cheap, but it's priceless. Number 3, the invisible hold. In 2016, the Patriots were facing the Jets in a divisional matchup that seemed headed for a blowout, until an invisible penalty took a touchdown off the board and handed the Jets a lifeline. Midway through the second quarter, Jets quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick fired a pass toward the sideline. Malcolm Butler read it perfectly, jumped the route, and picked it off in stride. But hold up, a flag is on the field. The refs called defensive holding. The penalty supposedly occurred on the opposite side of the field, completely away from the play. It wiped the touchdown off the board, and the Patriots were penalized 5 yards. The CBS broadcast replayed every angle and found nothing. Even the commentators were confused. We're seeing the hold. If anything, it's great coverage. It was a game-altering moment. Instead of a 17-0 Patriots lead, the Jets kept the ball, drove downfield, and scored. The swing was massive, emotionally and on the scoreboard. Fans dubbed it the invisible hold. The internet exploded with frame-by-frame breakdowns, showing zero contact. And Patriots coach Bill Belichick could only smirk in disgust. This call didn't just take 6 points off the board. It sparked the real conversation about accountability for flags that showed up nowhere on film. When the outcome of a play is this significant and it gets overturned by a phantom call, it just undermines trust in officiating altogether. Number 2, the flag madness. In 2013, the Denver Broncos were steamrolling through the league with Peyton Manning. But one game, a tight battle with the Pittsburgh Steelers, became infamous not for offense, but for a mess of questionable flags that changed everything. Late in the third quarter, something shifted. Not with the players, but with the officiating crew. Suddenly, nearly every Steelers defensive stop was erased by a bizarre penalty. A 3rd and 8 incomplete pass, defensive holding. A 4th down stop, illegal contact. 1st down Broncos. At one point, Denver picked up 3 automatic first downs on the same drive, all via penalties. I'm not joking. Each more suspect than the last. One announcer noted, "This is getting ridiculous. It feels like the Steelers can't touch anyone." And it wasn't just one series. The penalties seemed to multiply. 12 flags on Pittsburgh for over 120 yards, while Denver was just called for one minor false start. One! Steelers players were visibly frustrated, throwing up their hands after each whistle. Coach Mike Tomlin was irate on the sideline, visibly shouting toward the ref crew. Social media lit up with fans on both sides calling out the suspect calls. Is Denver playing 11 on 11 or 11 on 14? One post joked. The Broncos capitalized on the chaos, tacking on 2 late scores and pulling away in a game that had just been neck and neck. While no single call was the smoking gun, the mass effect of the flag overload was undeniable. It didn't just kill drives, it killed momentum, morale, and trust. To this day, Steelers fans point to that night in Denver as the game the Zebras wouldn't let them win. Now for the moment you've all waited for. Even a bad call can't stop you now. Number 1, Super Bowl 49, the phantom flag that never came. It's the final seconds of Super Bowl 49. It was February 1st, 2015. The Seattle Seahawks were 1 yard away from a second straight Super Bowl title. The New England Patriots lead 28-24. It's second and goal. Marshawn Lynch, arguably the most dominant back of the decade, is in the backfield. Everyone's watching, including the Patriots defense. They all expected one thing. Beast mode is getting the ball. But instead, Seattle calls a pass. What? Russell Wilson drops back and fires a quick slant toward Ricardo Lockette. Before the ball can even reach him, Patriots corner Malcolm Butler drops the route, intercepting it at the goal line. Game over. It was one of the most shocking endings in Super Bowl history. The call not to run Lynch was ultimately labeled the worst play ever made in football. Even players on the Patriots were stunned. Pete Carroll tried to justify it post-game, saying the Pats were at a goal line run set and he wanted to catch them off guard, but fans, players, and media tore it apart. Marshawn Lynch himself just sat on the bench, helmet on, stone-faced. He never said a word. Shockingly, because he didn't need to. But there's another layer. As bodies crashed in the end zone on that fateful day, several fans and broadcasters saw a flag come out, then disappear. For a moment, it seemed like there might be a defensive pass interference or illegal contact call on Butler. But the moment never came. Nothing was ever called. Some still swear a phantom flag was thrown and picked up. It became part of the myth. Did the Seahawks expect a bailout flag? Was that why they risked the pass? There was even a debate about whether a Patriots player had lined up offside, though replays later showed it was clean. The speculation didn't change the outcome, but it added gasoline to the fire. If a flag had been thrown, the Seahawks would have had another shot, but nothing came, only silence, and a confetti shower for New England. This wasn't just officiating, it was a coaching meltdown. A moment so devastating it fractured the Seahawks locker room for years. And it lives forever as one of the most painful what-ifs in football history. Here is the final whistle. If you've made it this far, congrats. You're officially on the final yard about to score. Officiating controversies are an unfortunate, but inevitable, part of sports. Now let us know, which blown call still makes you the angriest? Did we miss another officiating disaster that deserves infamy? Thank you for watching. And remember to tap that subscribe button on your way out. No booth review needed on that call. Until next time.